Hello, 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 everyone. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Today, I have Mr. Lamont Walker joining us here on A Winning World. Lamont will be a part of our A Winning World anthology, correct?
Yes,
He's going to be writing in the
absolutely.
book. And
Excited.
today you know what a winning world is. It's something that's highlighting the winning that is taking place in this world and with lives, that are overcomers. We have so much bad news taking place each and every day that we hear in the news. So we're not going to bring you any of the bad stuff. We're going to bring you the good stuff that helps you win, helps you to
That's right.
succeed, and helps you to keep hope alive, as they say. Who made that statement? Keep hope alive.
I think it was Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson, I think Jesse Jackson said, keep hope alive.
Absolutely.
So we're keeping hope alive and we're allowing the light to shine. And again, I have Mr. Lamont here with me. Welcome, Lamont.
Nice to be here.
It's a,
Thank you for having
yes, it's a
me. Yes,
pleasure to have you here.
absolutely.
And Lamont is actually going to share with us his winning story and some things that have taken place in his life.
Yeah.
So, Lamont, tell us a little bit about your young life,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very interesting, that you allow me to come here and share with the people, about the winning world, and I think the winning world starts with a winning mentality. You know, it's all about perspective. I heard they tell me that there is a in the midst of a hurricane, there is peace, like in the middle of a hurricane. So it's all about perspective. Things can be chaotic around you, but if you have the right perspective, you can be in a place of peace. And so I come to that place now after 20 years now, from the injury that I suffered 1997. I had an injury while playing a game of football. Um, Prior to the injury, though, I was raised by my mom, grew up in typical teenager. Basically, she took us to church and tried to do what was right with us, and she worked a lot, and gave me an opportunity to really get into things that I'm not proud of today. But she tried to instill those principles in us. But I still went astray. My father wasn't really in my life, so really trying to find myself as a teenager, going out and got into all kinds of different things. But I love the game of football. And like I said, in 1997, one Saturday morning, I was woke up out of bed by my brother, and I was known for the toughness and aggression that I had on the football field. So they came and got me and said, "Hey, boy, they're around the corner. They want to see you. So get up and let's go." So I got up out of bed and go ahead.
Let me ask you. Now, you mentioned that they said to come. Was this something in school or this was something just in the community?
No, it was actually 2 streets away from my
Two
house.
streets away.
Yeah, and so I was, like I said, in the bed. My brother, he said they is actually a group of guys who was around the corner,
Okay.
and they were
Okay.
all like, crowded around and doing hitting drills. Like I say, trying to put each other on their butts. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so I basically got up, put on my flip flops and the tank top, and went around there, and thinking I'm gonna put somebody on their back. And little did I know that it was gonna be me. And so I got around there, and basically, one of the guys' neighborhood friends, he and I were gonna be, competing against each other. And so we were about 10 feet away from each other. His cousin handed him the football, and he said hut, and we went full speed at each other, and we hit head on head, and the impact of the hit managed to break my neck and pinch my spinal cord, and it paralyzed me instantly. And so there I was laying on the ground, gasping for breath, and waiting for someone to help me. Just hearing people, kind of vaguely in the background, asking, am I okay, and different things like that. Last thing I remember, I was in the ambulance and looking up. to the lights. And uh, when I came to myself, so I was in Shands Hospital on my back, can't breathe on my own, kind of going in and out, consciousness, and seeing, some of my old friends come in, and I'm there, just with tears rolling down my face, just, wanting to, get out of the situation, get a sense of understanding. But so I left Shands and went to Brooks Rehab. Was there for a couple of months. Well, no, I'm sorry, attention, not Brooks Rehab. Went to Vencourt on the ventilator, and eventually had to get off of that ventilator because I couldn't breathe on my own, and went to Brooks for a little while to eventually learn how to live life again. And so it's something funny about my story. One of the reasons that I'm found myself, actually because of my injury, one of the reasons uh, for my injury is I had a hard time accepting change, and and some people might not understand that, but see, I know, like, like I say, I was trying to find myself as a kid, searching for that validation, really trying to figure out who I am. So I had this facade, this mask, of trying to be tough, and so that carried out on the football field. And even on the football field, like I said, I showed the aggression, you know, very physical, you know.
But you said, early on when we had talked that it was a masking of something else that was going on, and you had mentioned that you came from a single parent home,
Absolutely.
so mom was having to work, mom was having to do a lot of things, and
Yeah.
there are many people out there that are living these lives where there's only one parent in the home, and of course, mom or dad, whoever it is, grandmom,
Mhm.
whoever is having to focus on putting some food on the
Oh yeah.
table.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that, throughout all of that, the pent up aggression, what were some of those things? Was it missing that leadership, at
Oh
home?
yeah.
What was going
Without
on with
question.
that? What was that
Without question.
aggression?
Well, I mean,
The
the,
pent
the
up,
well, the reason why the aggression was the root of the problem. Well, was my father was missing.
that was
You know.
missing.
And, oh yeah, oh yeah, without question. I believe the father is there to give that child a validation. So I was constantly trying to prove myself to be somebody that I really wasn't. So that was the mask. So I was putting on, the aggression, the toughness of who I was. And like I said, it carried out on the football field. And I said the reason why I said, I couldn't, the reason why I got injured is because it was tough for me to embrace change, to accept change. I say that to say, because while I was playing, the time that I was playing, I would go in and I would tackle someone. And like I said, I was very physical. And each time that I would hit someone in those pads, I would hit them so hard that it would hurt myself. Right? And this is a message for many many people out there. They're
Yes.
doing things that they're hurting themselves,
Yes.
and the pain was so bad. I remember a time I hit somebody so hard till I blacked out. Like I mean, but I didn't stop. I kept going because see, I love the way the response that I had. People would,
People were cheering,
yeah.
and
So
they're
yeah,
liking what they see, not
yes.
realizing that it's really a cry for help.
It was hurting.
It's
I mean,
yeah,
physically.
hurting.
I
Yeah.
felt this in my neck. I felt this in my shoulders. I,
When you would hit someone.
yes, It was improperly tackled because I was leading with my head, and those of you know about football, that's improper. So, but I would do it over and over and over. Instead of changing, instead of saying no, I got to stop hitting like this. I got to stop. But because I didn't embrace change, I continued to injure myself. And so, just like many people in life, they haven't embraced change. And even after my injury, it was tough. But you know what? The sooner that I embraced change, that I realized that I couldn't do some of the things that I used to do,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? The depression, because as I told you earlier, I went through a small period of a depression. And why I was depressed is because I didn't accept where I was at because I wanted to do the same things. I wanted to, continue to live my life and be independent, constantly thinking about that.
You wanted that praise again too.
Yeah,
It was something about that praise.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
while he's continuing on, there are many other parents out there that sometimes your child is crying out, and mom is having to do what she has to do, or dad is having to, whoever that single parent is, sometimes that we have to kind of just slow it down and listen to the cry out and actually position ourselves, especially as speakers and trainers and people that are in the community. We have, the churches. It's so many. I look around and I said, wait, where are the leaders?
Yeah.
I know we have like the boys club and the girls club and things of that nature, but we're needing to get more people involved to actually hear the cries of our youth. Hear, because they're crying out. There were things that were there. Like you said, you were actually hurting yourself before you actually ended up with this major injury.
Yes.
So there was something inside that was saying, it was something that was trying to destroy you from within. And that's because you didn't know how to give voice. And I'm saying, you know what, we've got to do a lot more to make sure we give our youth a voice, and be ready, available to hear them, and just ask the questions. We don't walk the streets any longer. There was a time when when I was growing up, you know, the community would get together and have a big cookout and play, what you call it, kickball, basketball, baseball, and we didn't have baseball mounds and stuff. We would actually make it out of whatever we could find, but it was a community, and we don't have the community any longer. So with that, it's just, I'm hearing you, and I'm hearing, and that's why I know other single parents will hear this, and it may help jog something within them to say, you know what, though I know I have to do what I have to do, I've got to work, I've got to put the food on the table. It's creating other avenues for our children to be involved with, and maybe finding someone who's willing to be a mentor while we're away. I was a single mother as well, so I've always worked and had my own business, and what I realized was that I thought, oh, because they're with me, we're all good, but they needed to hear my voice, and I began to see certain things that I realized that, though I thought because we were here together, that was enough. But communication is everything. And if you had had that communication, but even in spite of not having the communication, we have a winner that's sitting here before us. So let you continue to talk on this winning life, and just how the impact, because this was in 1997 that Lamont was actually injured. He was injured playing football in the neighborhood, and as he stated, he was built up with all this physical aggression, and though he was in pain oftentimes, because the peers around are cheering and saying, yeah, it kept him driving towards something, whereas he was actually crying out for help and saying, I'm not happy, I need more. But and oftentimes we even as adults, are going through some things where we're crying out and don't know how to actually verbalize that we're going through. But you made it. You know what I'm saying? You're still here. So tell me about after 1997, after the injury and being the prognosis is what you share with me from the doctors. Now we're not talking about what the Lord is able to do and what we believe in Him to do. Is paralyzed from the neck down, shoulders down. Lamont is paralyzed from the shoulders down. But tell me what happened. Tell the viewers what happened after that, as far as that life changing.
Well,
moment?
well, this the thing, like I said, I was crying out, like you said, because I didn't have that father in my life, especially as a little boy. You want to have, that validation, that you are, a man. You're tough. You want people to look at you like that. And so I didn't have that from my father, and so I looked and tried to find it, in the community with the guys, my peers, feeling that pressure to perform. So like I say, and that was the result of the injury actually. So, but despite of not having my father,
Mm-hmm.
um, God is so good.
He's
I believe it was David. He says, when your mother and your father, well, sorry, when your father and your mother forsake you, he said, I'll take you up. So, I didn't have, that earthly father engaged and involved in my life, but it was what led me um, to know the Father of lights, that the one who made me a winner, who gave me that winning world, and that's what I say, and that winning, to see that, you're in the winning world, you got to have a winning mentality. And so that new birth experience that I had in 1999.
Tell me about
You
the
know,
new birth. What is the new birth? When you say the new birth, what is the new birth?
the new birth is what the scripture talks about in John the third chapter, when Jesus was talking to Nicodemus and told him that you have to be born again. And Nicodemus said, can a man enter to his mother's womb and be born again?" And then Jesus responded to him and said, "No, you have to be born of the water and of the spirit." And because he says that which is flesh, and that which is spirit. That's what Jesus said. And so he began to explain to Nicodemus that, the flesh is the part of you when you had a physical birth, through your mother. But he's saying being born again of the spirit, the spiritual birth. When he says being born again, that word again, it means from above, being born of God. So now I understand, that really the pain that I experience is really for the game. What was that song lady said? No
Did y'all
pain,
just hear that?
no
He
gain.
say the pain was for the gain. Did
Yes,
y'all get
yes,
that?
absolutely, absolutely.
Say
It's
that again. What you
the
say?
pain is for the game. I mean, it's true.
And how has that happened with you? Because though you went through pain, though you went through what, you know, could have been what was a major loss, but then you've turned it into a major gain. So t- share that process.
Because being born again and knowing who I am, and knowing, you see, uh, that I was born to win, and I understand that everything that happens to me, you know, it's happening for me. My favorite scripture is Romans the eighth chapter and 28th verse. He says, and we know, this is the Apostle Paul speaking. He says, and we know that all things, he didn't say some things.
All things.
Oh, come on.
All things.
I mean, that's all things. So that means even when it's pain in my shoulders, when,
Yes.
when I have a headache, I mean, how can this work together for my good? And see, the reality is that even if I have pain, the pain, it turns me, turns my attention and my focus to the Father. So as a result, it works for my good. So it doesn't matter, you know, um, what happens to me. At the end of the day, it's happening for me. So that's the winning world that I'm living in. The culture that we're living in, the kingdom, of God that we're living. We can't help but win. Losing is not in our DNA
It's not
as
an
children
option.
of God. Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not
an
an option.
option.
That's right.
He said
That's
he
right.
knew us before we were formed in our mother's womb.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
if he knew us before we were born in our mother's womb, we were chosen.
Yes.
because we made it here, right?
Absolutely.
When you think of it, one of
Absolutely.
my mentors always goes on how all the millions of sperms were racing to the egg,
Yeah.
but you were the one that was
You
that
won.
made it. You were the one
Yes.
that was chosen.
Yes.
So that purpose, that
Yes.
there's a purpose and a plan for us all.
Mm.
And if we're made in His image, and He's a winning God, He is the
Yes.
greatest. You
Yes.
know, the master physician, the Almighty One, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end.
Absolutely.
So therefore, that lives within us.
Absolutely. You when you're born again, you're born to win.
We are born to win.
No doubt about it. He says, whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. So that means what's in your world, if it doesn't look like it's a good thing, you'll overcome it. So what's in the world? If your world is sickness, if that's what's in your world right now, you're an overcomer. If your world is marital problems, if that's what's in your world, you're overcoming. If it's a money problem, you listen. Whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. So you are a winner. You got to wake up and believe that. You got to wake up and see that. Know that for yourself. Listen, this is someone that's talking to you. Listen, that looks like that I'm paralyzed, but I'm standing up inside. I'm a winner, my friend, and you are too. You just got to recognize it. You got to accept the reality of where you are today. Listen, it's not by accident. No, God has a plan for you. So you got to be look to Him and trust Him. That listen, even though it may be tough right now, even though you may have days where you feel like giving up, you got to keep going. You got to keep going because it's going to be worth your while. You'll see at the end that there's light. There's light there, my friend. And I'm telling you, it is going to be so rewarding if you just press beyond the way you feel. If you feel like giving up, you can't live by feelings. No, we live by faith. We live by faith. See, and God is constantly talking to you, and God, the language of God is faith. God speaks the language of faith. If you were speaking to me, right, and you were speaking Chinese, and I only spoke English, and you were trying to say, well, Lamont, you're a handsome young guy, you know, but I'm looking at you frowning, thinking that that you saying something negative about me, it's because there's a communication barrier.
Yes.
I don't understand the language that you're speaking. You understand what I'm saying? So when God is speaking to you, even in tough situations, God is saying something good to you.
Yeah.
But you cannot hear Him if you don't trust Him, if you don't stand in faith. See, you got to fight the good fight of faith. That's your fight. See, so when you stand in faith, understand you're going to hear God. You're going to hear God to say, this thing is working for you. It's working for my good. My turnaround is not. Listen, what's that? William Murphy. He say it's working.
It's working for my good.
It's working for my good.
It's
my
working
friend.
for my good.
So
Yeah.
So listen, man, you're a part of the winning family. So just keep the faith. Keep the faith.
And we're living in a winning world. At the end of the day, it's more winning than losing. It's more winning than, it's more light than darkness. Light is always going to overshadow darkness. And Lamont, I want you to look at this camera before we finish out and talk to the youth. Talk to that young boy that you were out there. And, what would you say to, a child that is now going through and maybe just facing turmoil, maybe because a father is missing, or it may be because something has happened to them. And, it could be a number of things, but they're searching and they're hungering and they're masking and getting in a lot of trouble because of the pain. What would you say to that youth today? Talk to that youth. Talk to you as a child. What would you say? What would you have wanted someone to speak to you?
Those of you who are out there who are children or teenagers, I want to let you know something that I was looking for when I was your age. I was looking for validation to know that I matter. And the truth of the matter is that you do matter. and you have a purpose. You are significant. The word purpose means the reason why you exist. God has designed you for a purpose. Your life matters. And what I want to encourage you to do is to look within yourself. Know the things that you're able to do. Know your gifts and the talents that God has given you because it is connected to what He wants you to do in this life. Beloved, there's so many different things that God want to use you to do in His life, but you will never be able to see the full potential of what He wants to do if you are living a destructive life. You won't make it there. So I am imploring you, I am, listen, pleading with you today to love yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself a chance. To say, listen, I'm going to do what's right even when it's hard. I'm going to respect my mother. I'm going to respect my dad. I'm going to respect my guardians because some of you don't have the fathers or the dad. So respect authority. Honor them because at the end of the day, it's going to help you. See, if you don't honor your parents, the scripture says that it will not go well with you. And the Bible says you won't even live long on the earth. So honor your parents. Help yourself by respecting what God wants you to do. And what He wants you to do is to be all that He's called you to do. He wants you to do something great beyond what you even can see now. That's what He has for you. So I want you to believe that. Believe that if He calls you, He has called you to greatness. That's right. God loves you, and so do I. And I'm telling you, you're going to win, my friend. It may not look like it because, listen, most kids, most teenagers, they feel sometimes because you're growing up, you're trying to figure yourself out. You're trying to figure this world out. But at the end of the day, you were born to win. And so if you keep going, if you keep, trusting that God is with you and He's for you, you'll see at the end of the day that you're going to look back and say, man, you know what? That young man, he told me that I was a winner. But I'm telling you something that you might not know about yourself. You were born to win. You're not too young to change the world. I believe it was what Jeremiah. I think he was what 8 years old. Jesus was 12 years old teaching in the temple. You're not too old, young. Yes, God called the young because the strong is what the scripture says. So you have purpose, and you're gonna you're gonna impact the world immensely. You're gonna impact and touch lives. But you got to give yourself a chance. You got to be willing to accept correction, accept criticism, accept, you see, when someone trying to give you instructions, follow them instructions. Because by listening to them, you'll save yourself and save the lives of others. So the world is waiting on you to be true to yourself, right? So God has called you to do something special. So I want you to realize it before it's too late. God bless. Yeah.
Yes. And one of the other things I remember when we were talking, we talked about the peers. Let me ask you this. How many of those peers that were cheering you on back then are still around? You hear that? None of them. So you got a lot of people, a lot of your friends that are cheering you on to do things. And you know what? When you get in trouble, when life happens, they won't be around to be found.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're connecting with people who are cheering you on to do good things, cheering you on to do things that are going to prolong life, who's going, that's going to cause you to be succeeding in life, versus that are wanting to see you, just for the moment,
Right.
of like you said, aggression. They like that, in a mix of, you didn't go into, and I know it probably will be part of something, some of what you will put in the book, as far as, some of the things that you were getting caught up in. Because, and another thing you stated that, I asked Lamont, I said, Lamont, if this hadn't happened, not going into full detail as far as what he was involved in before the accident, but I asked, would you still be here? And what was your answer?
I don't think so.
You don't think that he would be here
Yeah,
because the road, the path that he was headed.
right.
So, in some respects, the accident actually saved his life, you know. And we're wanting to actually get this message out because you know, there's a little boy out there, you know, there's a mom out there needing to hear it, a dad out there, a grandparent that's needing to hear. But you know what? I need to elicit help. If I can't do it myself, get the help for your child.
Yes.
Call and there's somebody. I just have to believe that there are people
Yes.
around. It's just oftentimes because of what we see in um, the environment that we're in, it appears that there is no one.
Yeah.
But we just have to open our mouths and say help.
Yes.
I had to learn that.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been very independent in doing things. And, when I went through, it was hard to say help because I had grown up in the church. So I knew, once you place it in God's hand, you're supposed to leave it there and know that He's gonna take care of it. It's gonna be okay, because I've prayed about it. God's gonna take care of it. And at the end of the day, He's placed people in our lives and around us that help. They are Him. That they're His hands and His ears and His feet in flesh.
Yeah.
Just like He came in flesh through His Son Jesus.
That's right.
So because if He sent someone through flesh, we need to realize that He sends us in flesh to be there and to be that change and to be that help for each other.
Absolutely.
That's the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
Never heard it that way
That's
until
true.
just now.
That's true.
But oftentimes, we want to be so in the spirit, spirit, spirit. And yes, we know that's where life is. But we're living in this world. And we need to know how to utilize what we have in this world. And we have each other. And at the end of the day, a winning world is here. If you have a message of hope, if you have a message of overcoming, if you have a message, you know, of just living triumphantly, through, the circumstances, the hits of life. I mean, life happens to us all. But you're living and you're winning. That's what this platform is all about. So please, reach out and say, I want to be a part of a winning world. I have a message to the world, as Lamont here is sharing with us. He's talking to a mother out there. He's talking to a single parent. He's talking to a child that is hurting right now and built up. You see a lot of times children are just, you'll call them bad because they're acting out. And man, come on, they're not bad. They're hurting. They're crying out. They're saying help. So he's talking to that parent. He's talking to that child. He's talking to, the world. He's talking to us that have the ability to actually get out into the community and be the hands and the feet of Jesus. Because, without that, people have nothing. It's one thing to get up and just speak the word all the time, but I'm a firm believer that it's word and action. Without action, what is the word? I mean, even when he was out with the people, he ministered to them in word to feed the spirit, but then he turns around and says, "We got to feed them lest they die on their way going back." So he broke the bread and grew the bread and expanded the fish so that they can eat natural. So it's, yes, thank God we're feeding people in the spiritual, but it is our calling, our mandate to touch people in the natural as well. So we've got to touch the flesh and we've got to be there. And Lamont, I am so excited that you're a part of a winning world and you're here to share, and even through everything that you've gone through. I mean, look at that smile, guys. Y'all know I always say, though the pain is here, I still have my smile. Look at that smile. Lamont still has that beautiful smile as well. So, and that's what it's all about, man. You go through only to be greater. We're only greater in spite of it all. The pain is real, but we win.
Always win.
And we're shining forth the light. So I want to thank you, Lamont, for being here. It is fun. And that's what it's all about. Spreading the good news shining the light on the winning world and, showing that light always overshadows darkness in every aspect, every situation. We're always going to shine for His light because He's shining through us. It's not about you and me, but He uses us, to help shine the light. I like there's a song, "Light a Candle." So we pretty much are lighting other candles along the way because sometimes the candles may have a little flame there, but it's flickering and about to die out. Sometimes it's died out, and we've got to be there. We're our sisters and brothers keepers. So have been placed here to just take that light and say, it's okay. I got some for you. You're still gonna shine. You're still shining. You're still shining. So we're wanting to shine this light around the world.
That's right. Yes.
A winning world, right? Where you are, you don't have to leave to get it. It's something that is found within us, and that's, like you say, you have to find that inner peace. And it took going through something to make that transition that you didn't want to make. You didn't like change, but we got to change in order to win. You got to change. You got to die to self.
Change, and let me tell you, change is actually one of the best things you can do in this life. Because change, if you, the sooner you embrace change, the faster your growth is going to happen.
Yes.
I mean, there's stages in life. So if you want to go to the next level, embrace change. Don't be afraid, to say, listen, no to yourself. And yes to the next level. Do what's tough, you know. Beloved, do what seems impossible. That's what God is calling you to do. Embrace that challenge. Embrace the next chapter of your life. I'm telling you, look up. Like she said, listen, you are part of the winning world.
A winning world. So we're going to get ready to close out. I thank you. I thank you, Lamont, again. We're going to do this again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Yeah, if your viewers want me back.
That y'all will let Lamont know you want him back. You want him to come back. We have some more discussions to take place here. So again, thank you for coming to unite with us, be here on a winning world. As I always say, kisses, much love and hugs to you. Every eye here seeing, every ear hearing. May you lack no good thing that the Father has for you. I just pray and speak life over your lives and abundance overflowing because that's what it's all about. That's what we're here, to highlight and to be a part of. And that we have, you have. And we're just wanting to spread the good news across this land. So thank you so much. Actually, Lamont, I would like you to pray us out of here. Just say a prayer to the young people and to the world, concerning where you came from. I need our youth and those single moms to hear a prayer, single parents, moms, dads, or grandparents, whoever it may be. Say a prayer.
Father, I just ask you, Father, that you would just touch, Lord, those, God, who are going through challenging situations right now. Father, those who are listening to this message that we have, a winning world, God, I pray that you will awaken that reality in them, God, that it is found in Christ. It is found in faith in you, Father. Lord, that they would come to the understanding, God, that you love and care for them, that you are fighting for them, not against them. Let them know that you want to be a father to them, not an enemy. Father, when they understand this, God, they will understand that they can go beyond, God, the struggle, that they can fly above the storm, even as the eagle, Father. I pray, God, that you will cause them to develop a mentality to go forward and upward in life. And Father, I be careful to give you praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for joining A Winning World. Take care.
Shalom.